Welcome to Super Turbo 64, the podcast in which two friends get together and just shoot shit about video games. I am Jason Vandervoort, and I am joined by my good friend Jeff Ross.
Hello.
All right. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right.
Hell
doing
yeah.
pretty good.
I'm glad to hear it. It has been a hot minute since we've recorded an episode. Let's see, just a brief recap. Like, we were recording episodes for a while over the PlayStation Network, you know, when we were both kind of in a fairly heavy lockdown. And the lockdown's kind of lifted, and so we've been able to kind of get back together in person. We recorded an episode in person once again. But this is now the first episode in which we are recording on an external recording device and like more legit looking microphones than what we were doing. Like this is the most legit our podcast setup may have ever looked.
It's looking good. You know, we got little thingies in front of our microphones.
Yes, the screen protector thingies.
Yeah, we got mic stands.
Mic stands?
We've got that's about it.
Yep. I have a notebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
A notebook full of notes on games that I have played within, within a certain period of time.
Me, I just rely on forgetting everything.
Yeah. No, that works. You know, you just got to find the method that works for you.
Yeah.
You know, whereas I like to just, apparently I feel the need to constantly scribble things. You know, exactly. That's what works for me, and you
That's
found
right.
what works for you.
I do, you know, sometimes put things down in my phone.
Okay.
You know,
Nice.
Such as, nothing to do with the podcast, though.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Like, you know, I'll put down phone numbers.
Yeah. You know, I'll text people, friends, and stuff.
Yeah, you know, but as you know, things regarding to the podcast, no.
No.
Yeah, no.
So, what you been playing lately, Jace?
Oh, let me see. Yeah, I have. So I think last time that we were chatting, I had been on a Metroidvania kick, and that Metroidvania kick has been continuing. I finally played Axiom Verge after. I mean, I've heard so many people recommend it to me, and for quite a while now. I've probably had people recommending that game to me for I'd say maybe about I'd say for at least 5 years now.
Yeah, that
feels like it
came out. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know right when it came out, both you and Ryan just were like super into it. And just for whatever reason or another, you know, I just hadn't gotten around to it. But finally, the Metroidvania kick was there. The game was on sale, and boom, I got it. And you know what? It's pretty good.
I'm glad to hear
I wish
it.
someone told me how good this game was. Like, otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's super cool. Like, it definitely kind of has this vibe that kind of reminds me of another game we've talked about on this podcast, Out of This World, or Another World, where it's just like, yeah, here you are, you're a scientist doing an experiment on something. I've already forgotten what the experiment was supposed to be about. And then, boom, you have a lab experiment, as is known to happen, and you get transported to an alien world again, which is just like, I mean, you turn on CNN every other night and it's just like, science lab explodes, lead scientist transported to unknown dimension. Like, I mean, but it's about time they did some good fictionalizing of it. But yeah, it's I don't know, and so it's just really cool. You get to explore just this big labyrinthian alien world, talk to just giant robo people, and also fight different giant robo people. Though and also you get just like this really nice bit of existential doubt at periods of the game. It's just like, I haven't really thought about Metroidvanias frequently as games that necessarily have stories that I remember. But Axiom Verge has a couple of just really good story bits, and it's just, I feel like Axiom Verge is going to stick with me longer than a lot of other Metroidvanias that I've played have, you know? So that's a good sign.
Absolutely. For me, it's like I did play that about 5 years ago now, and I
Right.
feel like what I remember the most is just how it made me feel going through the game, and
Yeah.
made me feel like I was, it's a hostile world, and you're
Yep.
just a man of science, and wrapping the trench or the lab coat. That's
He
what I'm
starts
looking
with a
for.
lab coat and gets a trench coat,
Oh,
you know, which
mhm.
is just, yeah. If you want to be any more of a badass scientist, like, you start with your lab coat and then trench coat. You just imagine Bill Nye the Science Guy in a trench coat.
I'm scared at the thought.
Exactly.
He's too cool.
He really is. Please continue.
No, yeah, it's just I really did have one of the coolest stories in like an indie game that I've played.
Right,
You know?
no doubt.
And so I mean, and I don't know. I'm not going to go too deep into it in case people haven't played it, but
Right.
it's one of those things where just the elements of the story are something that like good science fiction has been using for a while. But
Yeah. But something that you don't necessarily always see in science fiction games,
yeah,
you know?
totally. And so I'm glad you finally played that game, Jace.
Right. Just in time for me to hopefully play Axiom Verge 2,
That's right.
which is coming out. I don't know if it's quite coming out this year. Maybe 2021. I don't really remember, but you know, I'm fairly confident it won't take me till like 2026 to play Axiom Verge 2.
We'll see.
I mean, I won't make promises, but I feel it's pretty reasonable to assume I'll play it before then.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed your experience.
Yeah. No, was a really, really fun game.
What do you think about the concept in the video game Axiom Verge? What do you think about like their use of glitches as a gameplay mechanic?
It was super cool. Like, there was a couple of times throughout the course of the game where, I mean, getting lost in Metroidvanias is kind of par for the course, but I definitely feel, like I got lost behind a kind of, I don't know, just like really kind of weird, not puzzles, but just weird things,
Yeah.
And I feel like the glitches maybe played a small part in that, because I know there's I think 3 levels of glitches that you can go through. And you get the ones that your base beam can go through, and then you get an upgrade to that, and then you get the bomb that just does a huge, massive one. So like, it'd be kind of frustrating because you'd get an upgrade for it, and you think, all right, I remember exactly where to use this,
Sure.
and you were wrong.
What about those like zones that you can go into?
Those were cool as hell.
Did you know those are randomly generated?
Really?
Yeah.
That's super
And
cool.
One of the things that they do with the speedrun mode in the game is that they make it so that it's always in the same spot, so people who are doing like a full completion run of the game can know what they're running into. But yeah, so that it really it shows up at random and stuff
That's
like
cool.
that. But yeah,
Man, doing a completion run of that game sounds like a really big task. I think when I beat it, I think I had put a little over 15 hours into the game. And I think my map completion, it was over 80%, I want to say, but I only found like 50% of the items.
yeah,
Just because there's so much stuff there. And I mean, I don't know if it counts because it's like they've got the, as you can be going along, you can find health and weapon upgrades. Like they're not power-ups, they're not new items, but they're,
and
power-ups.
they definitely count those as
Right.
part of what towards your completion. But
Is that a Metroid thing?
yeah,
Okay. Because it's like, I've never really seen that happen much in, in Castlevania. Most Castlevania games, at least a lot of the ones I've played, used kind of a more just kind of a RPG sense of progression,
sure.
So, but
Yeah, with Metroid you get like missile upgrades.
Yeah.
Like, you get missile capacity upgrades and
Sure.
health capacity upgrades. But
I think I like that way a little more.
yeah,
Yeah, because I feel like it just, I don't know, it suits the feel of a Metroidvania
the
a little better.
exploration aspect.
Exactly, like having your exploration like almost constantly yielding benefits to you is cool. And I mean, that works in a Castlevania kind too, where it's like, you know, if you're backtracking, unless you're just really fed up with the monsters, you usually just go along and you're just bapping them anyway, so you can get leveled up that way. But I don't know, just finding the shit.
Yeah, that's just pretty cool.
Yeah, you get like that little endorphin boost. You're like, yes,
that's right. You definitely get that sense of like, I want to explore the world because it's going to help me out more.
Exactly.
And with that, you don't have to care about the enemies, you know, as you go along if you don't want to.
Exactly.
You know?
There were plenty of times after a while where I'm just, you know, avoiding the guys. Like, it's just, nope, you're in my way. Get out of here, little bug dude. Twerps. Yes. Yeah, just a bunch of twerps.
Definitely.
Twerps, dweebs, the occasional freakazoid. Like, yeah, they just get the heck out of my way.
Absolutely. Jason's a bully.
In Metroidvanias, yeah, because you're just barging through and just like shoving aside or like just beating things up. If they had a Metroidvania that was based in a school, you'd probably be like constantly shoving people into lockers.
Oh my gosh. I wonder what that game Bully is like. I never did play it.
I never played it either. I've always been curious. Like,
because Rockstar made it.
Exactly. And it's classic Rockstar. You know? And it's around the time that they made The Warriors. Okay. Which is it's one of my favorite, you know, adaptions ever. Yeah. Like in my mind, there's not many better games based on movies than The Warriors. Sure. And like they made Bully right around that time, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
So, I remember seeing my old roommate Josh play Bully once, and I think the main thing that's stopped me from playing it is there is like kind of this one song that is kind of just playing in the hub world that is just madness inducing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it just made me just think, no. Oh, God, that sounds horrible.
There's at least one game I know of that Jason won't play because of the kazoo involved.
Yes.
Tricky Towers.
Yeah, I'm very anti-kazoo. It's a garbage tier instrument.
It literally is. It's got to be like the cheapest one.
Oh, yeah. You can buy like a pack of kazoos at a music store for maybe $5, maybe.
Yeah.
But
anyhow,
what have you been playing, Jeff?
Well, the main game I've been playing lately has got to be Getting Over It, which has been a lot of fun. Like it, I even streamed it a little bit. Last week or something like that.
Nice.
It was the first run took me 9 hours and 20 minutes. You know, I went on to Getting Over It, or How Long to Beat, the website.
I love that website so much.
It's good, and the average run time for the first, or for whoever submitted their time, was like 6.5 hours, you know? Okay. And so I'm like, I'm kind of like an order of magnitude beyond that. Sure. Well, not really. That would be like 60 hours. But
it would take me 60 hours to finish Getting Over It.
But I was like, you know, I was at the end of the bell curve. I'm like, I'm going to try it again and see if I can get a better time. And then I got 7 hours, roughly. Okay. And then I played it again. I got an hour.
You beat it in an hour?
Yeah. And
holy shit.
I've actually beaten it 13 times now. And my fastest time is 18 minutes.
18 minutes? Oh, my God.
I played a lot of it. It's something that I can play while I'm doing something else, too. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, I've never been like a speedrunner before, but it feels like
You're working
game that I
it.
can like. Yeah, you can. It feels like a game where you can really just like try and improve the one thing in that game that you can improve, which is your capacity to climb and therefore your speed and accuracy. And it's been pretty like. I felt like an insane person at first when I was trying to replay it the first time. Like, why am I doing this? Why do I enjoy this so much?
Well, that's funny because when you were mentioning, like, just as the beginning when you said, like, you played it twice, I had this feeling of, why? Why? Jeff, no! Why would you do that to
hurting
yourself?
myself, Jason.
Yeah, exactly. Friends don't let friends replay getting over it.
I've told you this in passing, but it takes 50 times, 50 completions to get the golden pot. I'm a little over a fifth of the way now.
Okay.
You know?
Are you considering going for the golden pot?
I think it's something that I'm not gonna do intentionally. It's something that I'm gonna do like casually.
Yeah, like if every once in a while you're thinking, oh hey, I'll do a run of getting over it. See if I can beat my time.
Absolutely.
And then as it goes on, you're just. I imagine like once you get to run 40, you're thinking, that's it, gonna get that golden pot.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's something that I tried the game it was based on, and it's honestly the worst game I've ever played.
Right. Okay.
The B game, they call it Sexy Hiking.
Sexy Hiking.
Yeah, you're a cartoon man with a hammer, like a 3-dimensional hammer. For some reason, they use assets that and I've talked to you a little bit about this before, but they use assets found in the anywhere on the internet that they can find it, and it's so bad. I'm like, how did anyone enjoy this?
Exactly.
It was like how you saw getting over it.
Yes. Yeah, basically. So yeah, just for the people listening who haven't seen Getting Over It and don't really know, just give the listeners just a brief visual idea of what Getting Over It is.
Imagine, if you will,
a world in horror.
A pleasant lakeside. A cauldron sits solitary, and emerges a man, naked from the waist up, hidden from the waist below. He was inside the cauldron the whole time, and with him, a sledgehammer. His only means of motoring through the landscape. So it's a 2-dimensional game in terms of left to right, up and down, and you just have to use circular motions basically to take that hammer and try and climb over mountains and garbage and whatever you find along the way. And if you fall, you don't get a checkpoint. You fall back to where you were.
Yeah, exactly.
And
very unforgiving game.
Yes. It's and the game's announcer or narrator, Bennett Foddy, who made the game, he made it by himself. He'll give you quotes about sadness and regret and sorrow and mistakes and while you fall, and then he'll play blues songs if you fall too many times, and just really rubbing it in.
Oh yeah, he's just definitely trolling you.
Yeah. So that's fun, and he also tells you about the making of the game and the games, the B games as he calls them, that were that it was based on. So it's something that I can easily recommend, especially for the price I paid for it, $2 American.
Wow! Did you catch it on the Steam Summer Sale?
I did. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it was
Here
good.
There be bargains.
Mm-hmm. Gotta nab it up, and it's funny. I really had to embrace
madness.
Yeah. I had to embrace the pride side of me, the proud side of me.
Yes.
Because I was like, why am I doing this? Because I want to be able to, and because I want to be able to say I could.
Right. Yeah. I definitely feel actually, very recently, Jeff and I started a co-op run of Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about it as we were recording it, that, I've started Bloodborne twice.
Mm-hmm.
Both times I stopped at Father Gascoigne,
mm-hmm.
kind of, as you said, an early hurdle for the game. And but Jeff has beaten Bloodborne just the one time?
I did just beat it once.
Just the one time. But yeah, you've gone on to beat, multiple Souls games and working on Sekiro. And and I just feel like there's something there, like the fact that you've played Getting Over It to completion, not just once, and then you've also played the Souls games where it's just like, I feel like if you sat me in front of your computer to play Getting Over It,
you would probably just sit there like me, being 10 years old with a plate of spaghetti in front of me.
Yeah. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Just scoot the computer away from me.
Yeah. This isn't grilled cheese, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, there's just something different in our brain's chemistry, whereas like you see that challenge and you're like, heck yeah.
I gotta do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas me, I'm like, no.
Yep, it happens. I mean, and there's different types of people, of course, and I think that part of it really is just like the mechanics,
right?
Especially like the joy of dodging in the Dark Souls and Bloodborne games, and with Getting Over It, it's just like, you remember Mount Your Friends?
Yes.
Another delightful game.
Oh, yes. It was only a matter of time before we talked about Mount Your Friends on the podcast. I'm just so thrilled that today is the day.
That's a game where a bunch of burly men climb each other.
And make a mountain.
You try and take turns to see who can climb the highest in like 30 seconds or something like that.
Yes.
And
it has probably one of the most epic soundtracks
really
of all time. It's just, in general, it's a masterwork of sound design. Just the music and the grunts as people just climb each other.
Absolutely.
I haven't thought about that game in a long time, and now I just really miss it.
If you got good at the game, which we all did eventually.
We played enough of it.
You could switch from climbing to launching yourself.
Yeah.
By flicking and that's sort of what happens in Getting Over It.
Yeah.
You're like, you start off with just scraping by, and then eventually you're like, I only flung myself past 3 obstacles instead of 4 or something.
I'm slipping.
That. Yeah, exactly. So, nice. I don't know. Go check out Mount Your Friends if you want a nice surprise if you don't know what that's all about.
See if your parents want to play it with you.
Maybe your pastor.
Yeah, exactly. It's great fun for the entire family.
Absolutely.
But just going back to Getting Over It for just a bit, I obviously don't want you to spoil the ending, but it's probably one of the coolest things that I've heard in games where there's a thing about the ending that I've just not seen or heard many other things do, and I just think it's so cool, and I think you should talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay, moving on.
Sorry, when I was climbing, I even said it on the stream, I'm like, 80% of me is like doing this for pride. 20% of me is like, I gotta know what's at the top of that mountain.
Right.
Because the first time I saw the ending of the game, it shows you get credits, and then there's a little screen that says, I solemnly swear that I'm all by myself, I'm not streaming this, and that only people who have climbed the mountain are welcome here. And then you have to like check the box, and then you can click yes or no to go beyond that screen, and there's an ending there. And so it's taboo to share what that ending is.
Exactly.
It's shameful at the highest order to like look it up online, because of course there's people
there's definitely I mean, I'm sure if you went on YouTube you could look up the ending of Getting Over It, but it's like, it is just, and I mean, it's not just in video games. I mean, giving away the ending to a thing is just, it's poor taste to do. And that's kind of like, it's been kind of a weird thing for the podcast, is like, when we're talking about games, like, because we don't always exactly know what game we're going to talk about or how far we're going to get into it. So it's like, we're in this kind of position, like, never really wanting to spoil the games we're playing.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's different if we were reviewing like a movie or something. You could say at the beginning, hey, this is the movie we're watching, so if you've watched it, go ahead and listen.
Sure. And I mean, that goes for the same way for if you've played the game.
Exactly. But it's like,
we
since there's so much,
really try not to spoil things in this show. Yeah.
But and it's just, but the fact that the game goes that far out of its way and basically just asks the player not to do it. Like, closest thing I see to that is like, say if you're playing a game, on your PlayStation 4, you've got the recording function that goes on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just multiple times, depending on the game you're playing, you'll enter what's called a blocked scene, where you'll get like this tiny notification in the top corner saying, hey, you've entered a blocked scene, you can't record.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time that happens like if you're at the ending, you know?
Yeah,
you're just about to beat this game, and so boom, blocked scene.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, all of Persona 5 was like a blocked scene.
Right.
So like, you can take screenshots or record anything from Persona 5. They got rid of that in Royal, thankfully.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
just because I do like, being able... Like, one of the coolest things about the current gen of consoles was the ability to just, take screenshots, take small pieces of video, and it was just... I get sometimes when they don't want you to do that, but...
And it's interesting, too, because Bennett Foddy actually talks about streamers a little bit while you're climbing. He's like, now I know that chances are you're watching this with some dude with 10 million views on Twitch or YouTube is spoon feeding you the the experience, and that's culture too. And then that's all he really says about that, but he recognizes the fact that a majority of the people who experience the game are going to experience it secondhand.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Like I've got a friend of mine, and they'll they like games, but they don't feel super good at them. And so like they oftentimes will just watch a friend play a game that they're interested in, but they know they wouldn't be able to do, like a survival horror game,
Right.
Just like, nope, not gonna do it. I'll just watch. There's definitely something to be said about that.
Absolutely. Some people prefer. It's strange, maybe, to some of us who are addicted to video games and their whole life is mashing them buttons. But
mash damn buttons.
For some people, watching is just as fun or more fun, depending on the game or the person. So, that's just one of the many thousands of games I've been playing this past couple of weeks.
Right.
With this computer, I've been like kind of going into overload mode.
Yes. That's a fair point. Because I think
the
last time
the
last time we recorded. Did you have the PC last time we recorded?
Yeah. Okay. I just kind of got it more recently then, of course. And,
okay.
I'm still, I've been playing various roguelikes. I've been playing.
You were experiencing the motherload of roguelikes,
yes. And all the indie games that don't make it to console or are not for years or whatever, are on there. And but the other major thing I guess I could say I've been playing is Call of Duty Warzone.
That's been fun.
Which is another experience altogether. Yeah, I mean, it's maybe some hardcore gamers like kind of give COD some flack for being like a bro dude experience, but Warzone has been a lot of fun to connect with PC playing friends,
right,
and just try and get some W's on the board.
Yep. I've that's been really fun, especially since Warzone enables crossplay between like PlayStation 4 and PC. So probably may honestly be almost one of the first times that I've been able to play a game online with our friend Ryan.
Yeah.
It just does not happen. He's been part of the PC Master Race for quite a long time now.
Yep.
And so getting to play games online with him has been really fun, and we've me, Ryan, and Sean have been able to play. So far, I don't know how many W's you've gotten, but I've only been involved with one of them.
Yeah, you got to cut to the front of the line. Basically,
I did.
We hadn't. I think you were there for our first win, or
I have no idea.
But we got one more win.
Okay.
With me, Ryan, Andrew, and Sean.
Yep, that doesn't surprise me. Andy's a fiend.
No, wait, it was Travis instead of Sean. I think Travis, not our close friend Travis, but Andy's close friend.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we've had some good times. My probably one of the highlights of my life in that game is just, seeing somebody with a crown on the map and going, oh, they're right in the middle of the highway, and taking a sharp right in my little Jeep and like honking the horn as I ran them over.
Yep.
Just I don't know. Like the vehicles in that game is pretty fun.
Exactly. Everything about that game just feels, so good. It gets the benefit of kind of joining the Battle Royale party later on, and so it's been able to iron out some of the kinks that, like, say, PUBG or Fortnite, had to really kind of grind their way through to get.
Right, like they have the ping system from Apex Legends.
Sure.
The they're in first person, which PUBG had to like evolve into, and
right.
Fortnite never did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically, it's also got probably the biggest budget in video games.
Sure.
Call of Duty,
Call of Duty. Yeah, they get a whole hell of a lot of money bills.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, no, that's been like playing, like just kicking back, playing battle royales is just I don't know, it's a fun experience. Something about like that game mode is just, I don't know. It's a good time. It's just very chill, for me at least.
Absolutely. Like, there's something, and I mean, it's chill unless you want it to be serious, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You can really get into the mode that it's you versus 100 people, and you're just like
right,
trying as hard as you can. I've been sworn at in many languages, because that's another thing that Warzone does is when you kill someone, if they have their mic open, they can... you can hear them for like a second after they die, and I've heard a few swears.
That's why I never hear anything on that game.
Some of us have tried to like create our just plan for our deaths, especially because it has that 1v1 mode when you've been murdered.
Right.
That gives you time, like, I'm gonna be killed here, 50% chance,
yep.
Whatever. Some of them I can't even repeat on this podcast, this family podcast, but just saying things like I don't know, oh shoot, trying to. Like, oh man!
Yeah, basically, like, pretending to be
a little kid or something.
Yeah, a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah. And we've even heard some children, excited that I broke his armor, even though like they just got knocked down and they're done for them. Like, yes, I did something.
Right.
Like, good for them.
I mean, to be fair though, I'm kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just if I break someone's armor, I mean, just if it wasn't apparent, I'm bad at it. I just Call of Duty, or just shooters in general, Call of Duty, I'm not great. But yeah, when I get to break someone's armor, I'm like, bullseye.
Yeah, put that on the old victory board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One for my highlight reel. I actually hit him this time.
I'm dying at the idea of a highlight reel that just has like a person like getting armor broke.
Yeah.
Just getting some, like, you land one sniper shot and the other person heals back up. And you're like, yeah!
Yeah.
Dramatic metal music or something like that.
Yeah, my highlight reel would basically be it would be more kind of like watching America's Funniest Home Videos, I think, more than anything else. But that's just me in multiplayer games in general.
Yep. Oh, we don't normally talk about games that are upcoming, but we haven't talked about Fall Guys yet, a different battle royale.
Oh, I don't even know what it is, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be free for PS4, PS Plus members.
Oh, really?
Coming up on the 4th. That's one of our 2 games of the month,
That
game's... Yeah, we talked a little bit about it. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockdown.
Now I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, like I think I saw just a tiny bit of what the game was, but
yeah. It's it is it's a little kind of cartoony little game where you play as a bean with legs and arms, and you
kind of looks like Gang Beasts.
Yeah, absolutely. And you It's like those Japanese game shows where you try to jump through the hole, or you try to like land on the platform and not fall into the gunk and stuff like that.
Takeshi's Castle, baby.
Yeah, it's just like that, except you got 59 other human players and you're trying to make it to the end. There's a few rounds.
Okay.
And you can be the guy.
You can be the guy.
And I'm so happy. Like, I was ready to pay $20 to try this game.
Sure.
And because that's what they're selling it for on Steam, but it's going to be free on the 4th coming
That's
up
nice.
here. Yeah.
Oh, I'll download it. I'll be ready to try it.
Yeah, we should try it out.
Hell yeah, I'm down with that.
It's cool that they have different kinds of battle royales, like you've heard of, like, they had that Need for Speed battle royale or whatever, like where you race people as you're going along, or like there was a Bomberman one that came out.
Yeah. The genre's been around long enough now that we're starting just to see
where the
more
creative
more innovative stuff instead of it just being kind of a derivative version of this other thing. Mm-hmm. Like I think there's even, I haven't looked into it recently, but there was even supposed to be a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure battle royale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you gonna play it?
Oh yeah,
Of course.
I would play it. I mean, definitely, I'd be more inclined to play it if I knew more people who would. But
of course,
I mean, if it's a free to play,
why not?
Yeah.
And of course, there's Tetris 99.
That's true.
That's another. I mean, there's plenty of examples, I guess, but it's just something that it's fun to see the new, instead of like 4v4, 8v8 online, it's like 1v100 or whatever.
Exactly. It just makes the victory for it just that much sweeter.
That's true. And that also means that the lust for those endorphins is that much higher, because you're just trying to get it and you're less likely to win. And
especially when I'm playing.
Well, look, Jason, be nice to my friend Jason.
That's true. That's true.
You can do it, champ.
Yep. I'll just, play a little bit more of it, but,
Yeah.
One of these days.
You'll get there eventually, right?
Eventually.
And what other games have you been playing?
Gosh.
I know you've been playing some Firewatch, right?
I have. Yes, indeed.
You want to talk about that, or say
I'm ready. Yeah, no, I can definitely talk about Firewatch. It's I also played that. Firewatch, it's one of those first-person adventure-y, sort of games. You play as this guy who takes a job as a fire lookout, basically just to kind of escape from life for a little while. He's dealing with just some heavy, personal stuff. And his solution is just to get away from it for a little while. And so, like, your only real communication is with another one of the fire lookouts. And so you talk to her throughout the course of the game, and it's, you're exploring this, this area that you're, watching out for. And it, like, like giving that pitch, you would lead someone to think, like, okay, now where's the game supposed to be?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's there. Like, you're exploring a lot, finding just different things that have been left by other people. You're kind of unraveling a couple of mysteries that surround the area that you're in, and it's just like it's able to actually relay quite a bit of tension and intrigue as the time goes. Like, I'm a really big fan of those first-person,
the walking sims.
The walking sims, yeah, exactly. Like Gone Home is probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah,
just first time playing Gone Home, just floored me. Yeah, and just a feeling that I haven't gotten from a game in quite a while. You know, and I don't even know if I've actually gotten it since then. Just like being floored by a game to that extent. And it also was like that was the first time I played a game of that style.
Sure.
But now it's just kind of put me in this mode where it's just like, all right, I got to try some other games like this. Yeah. And Firewatch, also much like Axiom Verge, is a game that was recommended to me quite a while ago, and I was like, I'll get to it eventually. Yeah. And so two of my big eventually games, got finished.
That's right. Thanks to sales, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bargains. It all worked.
It's also one of my favorite indie stories too. That
it's
game.
So good.
Yeah, I'm glad you finally played that game.
Yep,
Another
both
sentence. Of them. Yeah, both of them. What I said earlier. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's been what I've got. So, is there any bigger ones that you've got, or do you want to dig into the meat of the episode?
I mean, that meat sounds real appetizing.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So, as usual, we usually will have like a topic or a conversation thing kind of floating around in the back of our nogs as we're, kind of getting things going. Like, talking about the games that we're playing is the warm-up.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the real thing. And so, today's topic is comfort food games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the game, like the games that you play when it's just, whether if like you've got a bunch of like heavy stuff going on around you, or if you're just like, wanting to replay an old favorite, like the games that just when you sit down in front of them, you play them, you're just transported back to a simpler time, and you just feel so damn good playing them.
Yeah, and sometimes it's almost as if like they're an endless font of that good feeling, I guess.
Right.
Basically, right?
Yeah.
You just keep going back. You find an experience that you don't experience in other games, whether that's because of the nostalgic context you have for it, or if it's just got that good of a gameplay or visual or story look for you, or whatever you like about those games. Sometimes it can just be exactly the perfect game for you.
Yep.
And I think that for comfort food games, the ease of playing it really feeds a lot into it. Like, whether it's because you've played it so much or because it's an easier game, but just like being able to shut your brain off and play.
Just enjoy the sake of playing the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What's one of your examples, Jason?
Probably my biggest comfort food game, I think I would have to give that to Harvest Moon: Back to Nature for the PlayStation 1.
For the PlayStation 1, right?
Yep. It has been, like, I found out about the Harvest Moon games through a mutual friend of ours just years ago, and it was another one of those games where like you hear the pitch for it and you're like, okay,
now where's the game?
Where's the game? Yeah, and this is a fun thing that you are supposed to play. And
I remember my grandpa being like, "You're playing a farming game? I used to farm and there was no fun involved."
Right. Yeah. Yes. But yeah, no. Yeah, so just again for people who maybe just aren't familiar, Harvest Moon is a game, or it's called the Story of Seasons series, like within Japan, but it was called Harvest Moon here in the States. It is a series of games that usually revolve around your player character bringing a farm back from like usually kind of a decrepit, abandoned state to something that's thriving. And that farm is usually situated like, say, next to a small town, and like you're, in addition to your farming things, there's the other aspect of the game is just, making friendships and relationships with the various people that are in that town. And so when you first hear that, you just think, doesn't sound very fun. But like when I first started playing these games, actually the first one I played was Harvest Moon 64. And because our buddy Ethan had it, we played it together. And just like all it took was just that first session of playing it, and it just like clicked instantly. And I was just like, oh my God, I get it. And so then I happened to be with my dad. We were at GameStop, I want to say, in Duluth, and I found a Harvest Moon game, and I thought it was basically the same thing, but for PlayStation.
Right.
So I was like, okay, yes, give me. And so I play it, and it's like, it's a different game. Like, it's set in a different town than Harvest Moon 64, but the cast is the same.
Okay.
And so, so many days of my childhood like countless weekends when I would be staying over at my dad's house. Countless weekends would be spent me getting up way, way earlier than my dad and just sitting in front of my PlayStation playing Harvest Moon like for hours.
Yeah.
And it's just, and there's so many like bits about Harvest Moon that I just remember like so fondly. And it had a remake on the Game Boy Advance that I played a little bit. And it's actually just gotten yet another remake on the Switch. Haven't picked it up yet, but, you know, I'm gonna, because it's like, I mean,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I'm just really excited to play it again and just like, get back into that comfort food. Just.
And you know, we were spitballing topics for this episode, and we talked about games that you've bought the most.
Yes,
briefly.
Right.
And that was one that came up before the episode started.
Right.
And that's so you bought it twice? Is that
technically yes? I've bought the game 3 times now that I think about it. Yeah, so I bought it. You know, I bought it once on the original PlayStation. Bought it for the Game Boy Advance. Bought it digitally on the PlayStation 3.
Okay.
So the Switch will make it time number 4.
Okay.
Which that is possibly the game that I've bought the most now. You know?
Yeah.
It's either when we were kind of spitballing it, it would have either be Harvest Moon Back to Nature or Street Fighter 2 is the game that I've bought the most. Yeah. But you know, like Street Fighter 2 is slapped on everything.
Yeah.
Like it's everywhere. Capcom they can't get enough of selling you Street Fighter 2 again.
And we'll keep buying it.
Yeah.
Forever. But
what's yours, Jeff? I'm ready to hear it.
My number one comfort food game is going to be, no shocker to many people who know me, it's going to be Super Mario World, you know.
Bum, bum, bum!
Yeah, right. It's, I even, like, when someone close to me passed away recently, I actually, like, ended up playing that game the same day, you know. I just, like, it's a game that I can share with other people, you know, being in its multiplayer, and that it's a game that I can, you know, that I've played all over the place. It's something, thankfully, that, you know, made its way onto the Wii, into the Wii U and the Switch now too. Right. So it's something that you can play without having to plug in your Super Nintendo. But
right, which for some people, like, if the things still work, you know.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like, I know I keep bringing up getting over it, but it's like it was the old getting over it in a way, you know, like it's gotten to the point now when I play that game, like, I know exactly where all the enemies are. I know what the level's going to be before I pick it, you know what I mean? And it's just that it's like going through it you can take your mind off something in a sense, but you can also you know, let your mind drift as you play the game and just kind of process stuff and
engaged just enough so that you're, you know, knowing what you're doing, but then you just can, like, the rest of it you can just boom, let it all fade out.
Right. It's like it's one of the, like, I don't think I bought it. In terms of games that I've bought the most, it's definitely one of them.
Sure.
Because I did buy it for Wii U, and I had it for Game Boy. I think my parents bought it for me.
Okay.
We had it for Super Nintendo as well. I guess I didn't buy it for those times, but
we'll count it. You know,
it's one that I've possessed the most. You know,
yeah.
The game that I've purchased the most has got to be The Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
I thought it might be, because I know you bought it originally on computer, then PlayStation.
Not quite, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
It was free for PlayStation, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
And then I did try to get it on computer to get mods going.
Sure.
And my computer back then was so shitty that it didn't work.
Right.
And then I had a surgery coming up, so I'm like, I'm going to be stuck at my parents' house for a while because my knee needed surgery, and I wasn't going to be able to do much walking on my own, so I'm like, I'll buy it for the 3DS, you know?
Sure.
be able to play games, at my at my parents' house. And
Yep.
Then I also bought it for the Switch.
Yep.
Because you gotta buy things for the Switch because it's the newest portable console.
Yep.
It's another comfort food game for me because it's in the same aspect, the same vein. It's like endlessly repeatable, and you don't need. It's not so hard that you have to like focus on it the whole time, and it's something that you can just play it mindlessly, I guess. I know a guy who said, "Oh yeah, mindless fun" once when he was talking about Isaac, and I'm like, "That's how dare you?"
Yeah.
And then like the more I think about it, I'm like, he was right.
But you can never let him know.
Oh no, never. But what other comfort food games you got, Jason?
Most of my comfort food games, I feel like, are fairly synonymous with just my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, isn't that that's how it works?
Yeah. So I mean, Persona 4 Golden is on there. Mega Man Legends is on there. Like JRPGs, I feel it's like a comfort food genre for me, because I think so many of them are just very story focused. And the mechanics are usually, like they're not super mechanically demanding, and so it's really nice. Like I can be, just kind of, kicking back in my room, playing a JRPG, and it's just very much, like reading a good book, but except you're far more immersed into it.
Yeah. For me, a recent one would have to be Slay the Spire, another roguelike, but like just being able to, wake up in the morning and play some Slay the Spire, and like it's something where it's definitely my favorite turn-based combat game that I've played.
Yeah.
And it's another one that you can just boot up and play instantly, and it's not got no story really.
Yeah.
So it's something that is a little different every time you play it, and it's a great, like, the only problem for me so far is that I have to put just a little bit of thought into what I'm doing so that I can't like listen to a podcast or something while I'm playing it.
Yeah. And you'll play a little bit better after you've had your first cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just make foolhardy decisions.
Oh, absolutely. That's right. It's not so much the foolish decisions as just, well, it is, but it's the thought like, I could do it. It's going to be close, but I can risk it all. And then I lose. And I'm like, you shouldn't have risked it all, man.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have risked it all.
You're a goddamn fool.
Yeah. Hopefully you lose in the first 30 seconds.
Right. Early on. Just very early on. And then just because, like losing in a roguelike or something, just after you have put enough time into it is just a little demoralizing.
Lately in that game, I've been trying to beat the true final boss more as every character.
Yep.
And I've died a few times on that true final boss, and it feels bad, man.
That sucks. Yeah, just like you're so unbelievably close.
Yeah, you put an hour and a half in or something, and it's like you lose it. And just for me, like I texted you guys actually on Discord that I forgot, like, oh yeah, for the one person out there listening to this who's played Slay the Spire, I'll tell you exactly what happened. I had the buffer card. It deletes any amount of damage that you get next.
Okay.
And I used the buffer, and then I went to use a different card. Then I ended the turn. However, the true final boss does 1 HP of damage to you every time you play a card. So he did like an extreme amount of damage to me in one turn, and I thought I was going to buffer it, but I didn't, because that 1 HP of damage from the next card I played counted as my buffered damage.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a facepalm moment.
That sucks.
It happens, but
oh, what a bummer.
Well, It's a great game though. It's like Magic the Gathering without any money involved. You know?
That does sound perfect, actually.
Comfort food games. It's like the opposite of competitive eating, right? You know, it's just like if Warzone is competitive eating, then playing the campaign of it for the 50th time is comfort food. You know?
There you go. So, do you have? We've discussed some of our comfort food games. What are your competitive eating games like? So, like, as we've used comfort food as the idea of games that it's like, you know, you play them, you just get to shut your brain off. You know, it's like you go back, you relax with it. So I would imagine like a competitive eating game is just like maybe a game that you only play once. And,
okay.
Or it's just like, yeah, like a game that, you know, that is just the experience of playing it is just like extreme, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that part. I think that maybe it doesn't have to be only once because competitive eating is something that you really got to practice.
You have to train for it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like no one ever only does one hot dog eating contest. You know, they do multiple.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Look, we're not experts on competitive eating, but we can pretend to be with the best of them. Yeah. The first game easily that comes to mind is Dead Cells because that game requires complete focus.
Sure.
You know, and high actions per minute for me at least. You know, like I'm constantly dodging attacks, constantly dropping traps and attacks, you know, and if you fuck up too many times in a row, like in a quick succession, you're gonna die really fast.
Dead Cells is very, very frantic.
It's a frantic game, and it's one that also gets a lot of time because sometimes you do want a game. It gets a lot of time for me because you do want a game that you just takes all of your brain power,
just challenges you.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just thinking like for like a competitive eating game. Just to use the term. Basically, I would just have to say fighting games in general. You know, just because like, you know, I almost never play I never play fighting games before I'm gonna go to bed. You know, It's just like, it's been a long day of work. I'm just gonna get on my favorite pair of pajamas, have some tea, and I'm gonna practice that really difficult combo in Street Fighter. Like, I'm not going to do that. You know,
fair enough.
But like, so, and again, because it's like playing a fighting game, you know, whether you're playing it online or you're just with friends and whatnot, it's another one of those experiences where you need to be very much in the moment with it. And so like there was probably a time where I was playing fighting games on my own a little bit more, and now for the most part I pretty much have only been playing fighting games with you guys now.
Sure.
I just have more or less just kind of stopped playing them on my own, which probably shows. But
I don't know about that, but the it's just something that you're kind of sliding these days into a more story focused and more not to put words in your mouth, but just like chiller games.
Yes. Yes, that's kind of just where I've been at with them. Probably most game that has probably been requiring the most of me recently has been Ghost of Tsushima, which I've only put a few hours into that, so I'll probably save talking about Tsushima for another episode. But like but it's like it's weird because that's almost like a mix of both, because it's like you've got a big open world to explore, game's gorgeous, and the combat system is fantastic, but the combat is difficult.
Sure.
So when I'm in a fight, boom, it's like I'm all there.
Focused, yeah.
But then when the fight's over, I can just, lean back into bed a little more, take a sip of tea, and it's back to comfort food.
Nice.
So it's like you're at a hot dog eating contest, but then like maybe after one of the rounds, you just kick back and I don't know, have a bit of lasagna, which sounds like like this
like a terrible idea.
Exactly. Like parts of this analogy are not working together. Like mixing comfort food and competitive eating is a bad idea and probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah, maybe it's just a meal.
At that point, yes, it is just a meal. Yeah, other than that, most of the games that I have been playing feel just like, kick back, relax, have a good time. Like I'm still playing Animal Crossing.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I heard they just announced the second wave of summer updates.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they're going to add, but
It's fireworks. Red sets up a stall. They added visiting other villages or islands in a dream.
Nice.
Yeah,
These
so
are all sound like cool updates.
Yeah, and it's coming out fairly soon, I want to say. And the next one is slated for like fall. And it looks like it's going to be Halloween themed, so hell yeah. All about that Halloween stuff.
Yeah, it's we've talked about this before a little bit, but we're going to repeat ourselves a lot as we have endless episodes and we never stop talking. I feel like Jason is drifting more towards story games and I'm drifting farther away from them. Like if there's like a middle ground,
we will find
We're both going away from them.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, Jason would never play Getting Over It, right? And
I wouldn't. Oh, God, no.
And I am not going to play Trails of Cold Steel.
Yeah. It would be a trial for you. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But, like, I definitely think, like, even for, like, more story-focused games, I definitely feel like there might be the game out there that will be my limit.
Oh, yeah.
Where I'm just like, this is too much. I feel like that's why I really haven't been able to really get into the visual novel genre yet. Just because, like, I'm too uninvolved.
Yeah.
I like some level of involvement and immersion into what I'm doing. And so, like, there's probably going to be games that you may encounter on this path that you're on.
You think that it will be too mechanically driven?
Exactly. It's going to be too much game for you to handle.
Oh, no. I think those games are like the arcade games, Like sometimes like Super Hexagon or something where it's just pure difficulty.
Yeah.
No.
And bullet hells.
Yeah, right. I mean, some of them are awesome, and I do play a little Super Hexagon here and there, but just like you've dabbled in the in the realm of visual novels, but you should have seen how fast I was clicking through with Doki Doki Literature Club. I was like, come on, I'm like reading this thing as fast as I can, and I was motioning somebody rapidly slamming their mouse just now, but yeah, anyway, visual novels not for me.
Right. And it's like I feel like they're kind of on the way for me, but they might be just, if like we're doing that spectrum like you were kind of just motioning, where like I'm getting close to the pinnacle of like those story focused games, but I don't know if I can take it all the way.
And you don't have to, right?
I know what I have to do, but I just don't know if I have the strength.
Adam Driver sitting down in front of a TV, like turning on Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
Oh my God, I wish.
Oh man. Well, I think we've reached the denouement of our episode.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we were able to dig into some of the interesting concepts of games, and so hopefully this will cause the listener to consider their own bits of comfort food and competitive eating games in their lives.
Every episode of ours to really make you soul search about video games.
Exactly.
Just really peek inside your own self and just find, am I a gamer that likes mechanics or story?
Exactly.
And it can't be both.
Yeah,
it cannot.
Not. Yeah. Only a Sith deals in absolutes, Jeff. Just envisioning like, your typical gamer just like staring at their case of games as Dust in the Wind is playing. Like, what kind of gamer am I?
Oh my God. There's something about the name gamer. I wish there was a better word than gamer.
Yeah. I wonder if will games get their own version of like where comics, but like people say graphic novels, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like will gaming get its version of that? It might already have it, but you know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, we'll see.
Food for thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, leave your answer in the comments below. What you think the equivalent of graphic novel is for video games. Anyway.
All right. Well, until next time, everybody. Hope you all have a good time and enjoy whatever it is that you're playing. And I don't know. Be safe out there.
Yeah. Have a good one, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.